Hello, my loves. Welcome into this video for the new moon in Scorpio solar eclipse. I'm so excited to get started here on this journey. First things first, if you are new, hi, welcome in. It's nice to see you. It's nice to have you here. I do have a tutorial video, how to get the most out of these readings with my tips and tricks and how to engage with this material and your spiritual support team as we receive this guidance. You can watch that video if you feel called, if it feels supportive. It's not necessary, but it is there for you if it feels good to you. For those who are not new, hello, y'all. How are you? It's good to have you back here. Thank you so much for being here. As you hopefully already know, it is a pleasure to be offering this service to you, this guidance, this self-understanding through astrology, this connecting with our spiritual support team, our inner knowing through the spiritual sacred tools of the cards. And it's an honor and a joy, and I am so lit up by this Scorpio solar eclipse, and I'm excited to jump in and talk about it. So first, let's talk about new moon energy. New moons always represent for us new beginnings. New cycles are starting. The cycle that's starting is always under the theme of the sign that it's in, and it relates to the house that this energy is happening for us. We'll get more in depth with that house energies in just a moment. So the energy that this new moon is happening in is in the sign of Scorpio. So Scorpio is a fixed sign, which means that it is an unchanging energy. It's also a water sign, which represents the emotional realm. So essentially, the Scorpion energy is fixed water, unchanging emotions. That's this energy of the Scorpion archetype. Now, the Scorpion is the totem of the Scorpio energy, and it represents this deep dive into deep knowledge, into deep knowing, that relentless search for truth, diving deep into the core of who we are, why we're here, and really understanding that on a deep, deep level. The Scorpion energy also has this energy of flying high, like an eagle or like a phoenix, because it has this transformative nature. The Scorpio season happens during All Hallows Eve, which is when the veil is the thinnest between our world and the other side, and it represents this death and rebirth energy. So if you didn't watch the readings for the solar season in Scorpio, where we dive into where Scorpio is occurring in your own chart and you learn more about how to embody that energy and we get guidance from our support team, I recommend you check out that video after these videos if that feels good and right to you. Now, let's talk about eclipse energy. So the normal lunar phase, lunar cycle is 28 days. From one new moon to another, or one full moon to the next. Eclipse energies last us for 6 months. So this is a new beginning that we're going to see unfold and experience unfolding over the course of 6 months. This eclipse is referencing the lunar eclipse when the moon was full in Scorpio 6 months earlier on May 16th. So this energy here is a culmination of 6 months prior. I did a reading for that eclipse, and I will be reviewing the information that came through from that reading at the end of the videos. So this cycle is going to go from October 25th, which is when this eclipse happens, at 6:49 in the morning, that's Eastern time. And this energy, like I said, is going to be potent for 6 months. So it's going to last until May 5th, 23, which is going to be another lunar eclipse in Scorpio. More time to focus on this energy and utilize these powerful eclipse portals to move us forward in our personal goals and in our collective goals. Now, before we dive deep into this energy, into this information that's coming through here, I want to take a moment to talk about a cycle that's much, much larger that I haven't really talked about before this moment. So we are in a cycle called the Great Year. And some of you may have heard of this through the age of Aquarius. We're moving out of the age of Pisces and we're moving into the age of Aquarius. The Great Year actually goes backwards in the zodiac. So the energy of Aquarius is humanitarian focused. So overarching all of the work that we're doing right now is this energy of supporting humanity, supporting the collective, becoming a united, collaborative species. That's the overall theme of all of this energy and all of this work that we are doing on individual levels. It's permeating out into the collective. So this Scorpio new moon solar eclipse wanted me to connect with you and show you the power of prayer. So it doesn't matter what your spiritual beliefs are. You could call this an affirmation. You could call this an intention. You could call this a prayer, a meditation. The word that you use to describe what we're going to do here in just a moment is up to you to determine. And you can work with your spiritual support team in ways that feel good and right for you. But what I was receiving was that this powerful solar eclipse is a moment for us to make a wish, to start something new. And I'm inviting all of us watching these videos to take a moment and to set aside our personal goals, our personal life, whatever's going on an individual basis, and set a prayer, set an intention for humanity with this solar eclipse. My prayer, my intention is that our entire human family wake up to the truth of our collaborative, loving, and selfless natures. This is actually something that I've been learning about scientifically. It is proven, and there is an explanation for why we as a species have been so angry, alienated, competitive, and egocentric, despite our natural desires to be cooperative, to be loving, and to act in service of the whole. So this is my intention and my prayer. I'm going to read what's called the Ho'oponopono prayer. And I invite you to say this prayer with me and hold this intention for our human collective. Again, holding the intention that we all wake up to the truth within us, to our own natures of being collaborative, cooperative, and loving towards our human family as a whole. Here's the prayer. Father, mother, child, as one, if I, my family, relatives, and ancestors have offended you, your family, your relatives, and ancestors, in thoughts, words, deeds, and actions, from the beginning of creation to the present, we ask your forgiveness. Let's cleanse, purify, release, cut all the negative memories, blocks, energies, and vibrations. Let's transmute these unwanted energies into pure light. And it is said, it is done, and set free. Thank you all for joining me in this collective intention and prayer. I don't normally do this in my videos, but I was really guided to do this. Another reason I think I'm guided to do this is because, as I mentioned, the Scorpio energy is the thinning of the veil. This is the time for us to connect to our ancestors, the ones who did all of this work to get us where we are so that we could wake up to the beautiful freedom and truth of what it is to be a human living in cooperation with other humans on this earth. This is what the age of Aquarius promises us. And each phase that we go through is helping us to move closer and closer to this reality, bringing it into form. So back to the readings. How do you know which reading is for you? Well, you are going to have two readings. You're going to first watch the interpretation for where the moon was when you were born. So if you don't know your birth chart information, this is the time for you to watch my tutorial video on how to find your birth chart information on astro.com. You go to that site, enter in your birth data. If you don't know your birth time, please don't stop there. I have a tutorial video linked in that video that'll tell you how to find your birth time so that you can access this all-powerful information of the vibration that was in play the moment you took your first breath in this life. So you're going to watch the interpretation for where the moon was when you were born, and you're also going to check in to see what house this current eclipse is happening for you. So how do you find that out? I'll explain that in the video, so if you don't know, watch that video too. But you're going to look for where Scorpio, symbolized by the M with the little pointy tail, occurs at 2 degrees exactly in 2 degrees, okay? And whatever house that's in, you're going to also watch the video for the house reading. Now, of course, you can skip through the introduction once you've watched it once, and you can skip through where it says house interpretation. Watch the card reading and then scroll ahead. Okay, I do timestamps on these videos to help you guys scroll through the information that you don't need or that is repeat, and help you to get the most out of this information and not waste any of your time. Okay? If after watching the tutorial video you have questions on how to find this information and what video is right for you, please feel free to reach out. So if you feel called to support me for this information, for this guidance, for the way that it supports you, you can do that in so many ways. You can like, you can comment, you can engage with this material, which helps get me out to more people. You can share this with anyone you think would find it interesting and valuable. And of course, you can support me in my services. I have a weekly chakra meditation service on WhatsApp. It's only $14.40 a month. You can go to devotedandvulnerable.com/services to sign up for that. I also offer chart readings on that website at that same address, so you can go there. And if you just feel called to offer me a financial contribution out of the goodness of your heart and it feels aligned to you, you can do that at paypal.me/devotedvulnerable. Link is in the description. So we are going to be getting guidance from the Angel Therapy deck by Doreen Virtue. And we are ready to dive into what our spiritual support team wants us to know about the new beginnings we are starting in the next 6 months. So this reading is for you if the moon was in Pisces when you were born, and or if this 2 degrees of Scorpio solar eclipse is occurring in your 12th house. If you haven't already, taken a few deep breaths and called in your spiritual support team and opened your heart to receive the guidance most aligned to you, I invite you to do that now. We're going to see what advice you have from the Angel Therapy deck for the next 6 months. Here it is. Ooh, repeat. So if you got this card in another reading, expand it. No, expand isn't the word that I'm looking for. Like, blow it up. Like, it means even more. Okay, your card, singing and dancing. Express yourself and awaken your psychic senses through the magical power of music and movement. Yes, yes, yes. We're going to move into the moon interpretation. So if you're here for the house alignment, just scroll ahead. First, I'm going to talk about what Moon in Pisces is. If you're already familiar with this, you can scroll ahead to the explanation. So the moon represents our emotions in our astrological story, and the sign that it's in represents how our emotions express themselves. So your emotions express themselves through the Pisces archetype, which is the energy of the 2 fish. It's the last sign of the zodiac. It's the energy of everything going back into the ocean and becoming one, and it's the womb from which new life is born. Okay, representing those 2 fishes. So it is a mutable sign, which means it's a changing energy. It happens during the change of a season. It happens from the change from winter to spring in the northern hemisphere. It's also the energy of water, the element of water, which represents the emotional world. So you may find that emotionally, you are compassionate, sensitive, devoted, accepting, and imaginative. Let's get into the singing and dancing card. The thing that stuck out for me most is awaken your psychic centers through singing and dancing, because Pisces, y'all are the most psychic sign of the zodiac, okay? So emotionally, you have emotional psychic qualities. Even if you're afraid of it, it's time to stop being afraid of it, because collectively we're all going to be turning on our psychic abilities. This is very soon here. And more we're going to be seeing it in our everyday lives. So it's time. And you can awaken those senses through singing and dancing. For the next 6 months, it's important for you to have a practice, daily or weekly, where you're singing and dancing. Another thing that I have been telling people to be very conscious of is be aware of the energy of what it is that you're singing. Know that you are casting spells with every word that you say and every sentence that you say. You are sentencing yourself to that reality. So for the next 6 months, put aside any songs that are about heartache, that are about all of the painful things from your past, anything that you don't want to keep experiencing in your life and keep in your energetic field. They're off of the table when it comes to the things that you're going to be singing. Create a playlist of only songs you have positive associations with, only songs that are positive affirmations of things that you want to sentence yourself to for the next 6 months. Be very, very conscious of this. I cannot stress this enough. Also, just in that state of flow, when you are just singing and letting the song and the movement come through you, you might actually receive psychic awarenesses and understandings through that, or just through dancing, getting into that flow state. The fishy likes to move, right? So be a little fishy in your emotions. Let your emotions move. This energy is like what I feel with the Pisces energy. So definitely move. One thing that I like to do when I'm dancing is actually like to dance with a feather. I know it's silly, but I like fan myself and I like move the energy and I'll like pretend I can fly. It's a whole thing. Feather dancing. I came up with it once and I freaking love it. But you can also go to drum circles, dance circles, engage in the world in singing and dancing, and know that as you're in that flow state, you're going to activate your psychic centers. Where in your life this is most important, you're going to get more guidance from based on which house this eclipse is happening for, but this is very powerful energy for you. I'm very excited for you to express through your singing and dancing and to develop your psychic senses, because we're all going to be developing psychic senses. We're moving into a place energetically as a planet that's more activated on a psychic level. So you're going to be in the forefront of that perhaps as you allow yourself to tap into that with this eclipse. So go ahead and watch the house alignment, and until then, namaste. The universal light within me salutes and honors the universal light within you. Namaste. All right, let's talk a little bit about the 12th house energy, and then we'll get into how it relates to the card. So the houses in our astrological story will always give us the indication of where in our lives something is happening. So where this eclipse is really powerful and potent for you is in the realm of secrets, the house of secrets. So this is where we hold our hidden world. Our dreams are part of this realm, our fears, our intuition, and our rest and sleep. Our psychic centers. I love that this card says singing and dancing, express yourself and awaken your psychic centers and senses through the magical power of music and movement. Okay, so very, very aligned for you to activate your psychic centers, which is also in the realm of the 6th, or is in the realm of the 12th house. That's what that intuition indicates there. Through music and movement, be very conscious for the next 6 months about what you are listening to. It's very important. Be sure that the words, if there are words in what you're listening to, be aware that the sentences that you speak are sentences. You're sentencing yourself to whatever fate that you are singing about. So if you're singing about, a broken heart, well, then that energy is going to be in your sphere. You're sentencing yourself to that. Okay? So be aware about what you're singing. Create a whole new playlist of only things that are uplifting, only things that are empowering, only things that help you to be in a vibration and energy of what you are creating, not what has happened in the past. Very important for the next 6 months to make this shift. And I'm hearing like drum circles. I'm hearing like hertz frequencies. If you don't know what those are, look those up. Listening to those, especially ones related to the third eye, because that's psychic center. And yeah, move. I was telling the moon in Pisces that I like to move with a feather. I like to dance with a feather to smooth jazz, actually. It's really fun for me. It's really groovy music, and, you know, the feather dancing is just fun. I don't do it in public. I just, you know, obviously do it in my home. But now y'all know my little secret. Speaking of House of Secrets. So yeah, this is where you're receiving these psychic gifts. You might actually receive psychic energies in your dreams, which is open and activated through just you staying in the flow state, which is what music and movement invites you into. Let's review the advice that came through for the 12th house for the lunar eclipse in Scorpio 6 months ago. And at that time, I said the energy was relevant for an entire year. So this is an overarching cycle that is going to culminate in May 2023 as the same where this one culminates. 12th house. You had heal away addictions and Queen of Earth, which means Queen of the material realm. So how I interpret that at this moment, especially with this card, is that if you have an addiction that you're still struggling on kicking, go to singing and dancing. So for me, I always tell people my addiction was video games. Doesn't seem that serious, but I could not put them down. I had to watch this streamer stream 4 hours, you know, every day, and it was just this time suck, an energy suck in my life. And I couldn't let it go until I replaced it with something that I was excited about. So for me, that was learning how to do these readings, learning how to be a streamer, learning how to do the editing, all of that stuff. For you, it's singing and dancing. So anytime you go to reach for that thing that you're addicted to, replace it with the singing and dancing. Go put on your playlist. I have a playlist that's an hour long. Whenever I got time and space to myself at home, I put on that playlist and I jam. And whenever I put away laundry, I listen to my smooth jazz and I dance while I'm putting away laundry. And it's just this practice of singing and dancing that's going to help you release your addictions and help you move through some of the things that you maybe don't want to be doing but know are good for you, like putting away laundry. The Queen of Earth means you have this energy of being able to be a ruler of the material realm, but you have to clear yourself of these addictions and open yourself to the flow state in order to do that. That's what I'm hearing. If you want more details about that reading, you can go ahead and watch that reading. Comment, let me know how this is resonating with you. Let me know if you have questions. And as always, namaste. The universal light within me salutes and honors the universal light within you. Namaste.